I'm here at AMC about to walk in to Scream Unseen, the thing they do every Monday. Well, it's Screen Unseen if it's not a horror movie, but it is today. But they're going to show a movie that's not, doing so hot in word of mouth right now in hopes of showing it to people early for cheap. It'll generate more word of mouth. My sources tell me, and by sources I mean Reddit, that it's going to be Hunting Matthew Nichols, which is a movie I've seen the trailer of twice, and it looks like it could be good. I'm cautiously optimistic as somebody who likes found footage on paper, but it rarely ever pays off. So, let's see. Next time I'll bring my mic so this doesn't sound horrible. Okay, I'm gonna go watch the movie. Allow me to hide the camera in the car. Bye! Alright. That happened. I'm gonna go somewhere and we'll talk about it. What did I think about Hunting Matthew Nichols? That was the worst movie I've seen this year. There's an inherent problem with doing a documentary-style horror movie, and that problem is the same one that's inherent in all found footage movies. Obviously, the footage was recovered after the fact because you're watching it. It's been edited. And that's doubly so in this movie, which chooses to be a throwaway Netflix-style documentary in its presentation, which means there's a lot of After Effects plugins being done for little animations of the police report said they started at this house and they walked by this gas station and little graphics and it looks like crap. And I'm not saying this to insult the movie. I'm not saying this to be clever. Somebody fell asleep in it twice. I'm not kidding. In my screening, about 40 minutes in, things get real slow, real quiet, and we just all start to hear of a guy who had nodded off in his recliner, and there was a lot of pointed coughing as people tried to wake him up. So there was a lot of trying to shock the guy. That kind of worked. And then about 20-30 minutes later, once again, the movie started doing nothing. So we were once again lulled into the calming rhythms of this guy gently snoring in his AMC power recliner. Time for a quick break while Gavin tells you how you can make more videos like this possible in future. Don't worry, it's not too long. By the way, if you want to hear me talk about movies like this early, like the night I see them, please consider checking out my Patreon, patreon.com/GavinGWiz. I talk about movies, I talk about books, video games, everything I can get my hands on, and anything I write, anything I record, I put up for my patrons early, and then it'll come over to the public places. But if you want the early stuff, that's where you're going to find it. See you there. See? That wasn't too bad. Let's get back to the video. Listen, I'm not going to judge somebody for falling asleep in a movie. They could have had a long day at work. You know what I mean? It's not necessarily a judgment of Hunting Matthew Nichols' quality, but thematically it's hilarious because Hunting Matthew Nichols is boring as sin. There is no world where the mystery of the disappearance of Matthew Nichols is that interesting. And the sister, who is meant to be the main character of this documentary about finding out what happened to Matthew, is not compelling. Her reasons for wanting to find him are basically just, I want to find him.
I want a better answer to the question of what happened to them than the one I have right now.
My son didn't come home last night and
There is no ticking clock in the movie. We never established that she has X amount of time to film this documentary or she loses her funding. There's no anniversary coming up, nothing like that, right? In fact, early on in the movie, they invent a reason to slow down the investigation by saying a piece of evidence was not given to them by the police, and they're going to have to wait a whole month for lawyers to sort it out and get the tape. And then it literally just cuts to a 1 month later title tag, and she gets the tape. Most times when the movie invents an obstacle for the crew to overcome in hunting down this mystery, it is immediately solved, so it was purely just to waste time. And that's the thing about fake documentary style horror, is you have to have the bravery, the chutzpah, to do stuff like film in a car with the air conditioning going and bad lighting. If I had to sum up the style of Hunting Matthew Nichols in one word, that one word would be sterile. It is devoid of grime and reality in a way where you are acutely aware everything you're watching is a set or it is a real location that has been set dressed. There's a vibe to Canadian content, CanCon, where it is very obvious it exists to check some check boxes. There's amazing Canadian content. My favorite movie of the year so far, Nirvana, the band, the show, the movie. I will sing from the rooftops that movie was awesome. Go Canada, right? But then you watch crap like Hunting Matthew Nichols, and it's like, this feels like it was made because somebody found out they could get a grant to make a horror movie. Yeah, I don't know. It's watchable. But I would say it's watchable on like Shudder when you're bored late at night. You know what I mean? It's not that doesn't even work because it's such a boring movie, so you can't watch it late at night. If you want to watch, there's a 1930s car driving past me right now, and I'm trying very hard to be normal and not look at it and gawk. I'm also not going to move the camera because that would be weird. If you want to watch something that's like in the general vicinity of Hunting Matthew Nichols, but like good, go watch Lake Mungo. Lake Mungo's incredible. If you want something that's like found footage and the reason you're watching it makes sense, Deadstream I've talked about on my YouTube channel before. I recommend the video where I recommend Deadstream. One cut of the dead in that same video. Also fun. More comedy, but it's like really fun. Yeah, Hunting Matthew Nichols. If I have to do a 5-star scale and the Canva template I have makes doing half stars really difficult, so I've just avoided doing half stars in reviews. Honestly, folks, I think Hunting Matthew Nichols is 2. I think it's a 2 out of 5. If you can see it for cheap and if you really like found footage, don't go see Matthew Nichols, because any little thing you pick up on as a clue that's going to be something that comes back later, probably not. This is not a spoiler. This is something that happens super early in the movie. You see the inside of Tara, the main chick's childhood bedroom, and there's little bunny plushes everywhere. Suspiciously, a lot of bunny stuff in that room. So anybody who's seen enough horror movies is going to be like, okay, so there's going to be rabbit imagery later in the movie that's going to tie back to this little piece of information we've just planted about Tara, right? No. Not a single rabbit, no bunny, no, reference to it by a villain at the end or anything. That was just set dressing. They just bought some rabbit plushies and that was it. So yeah, that was my impressions on Hunting Matthew Nichols. If you have any recommendations for found footage horror movies or fake documentary horror movies that wear their Blair Witch Project love on their shirt sleeves without sucking, I would love to hear about them. I genuinely love found footage. I just need to see more of it that's good to reinstate my love of the genre. But until then, y'all have fun out there, and I'll talk to you about the next movie I see.